Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Angela. Today's video, I'm actually very excited about it. As you can tell by the title, it's going to be a review slash little demo tutorial, if you will, on the CARLI Bible X BH Cosmetics palette. This is the deluxe edition palette. As some of you may know, a little while ago they came out with their original palette, the OG. This is a 14 pan eyeshadow and highlighter palette. And then this year, the beginning of this year I think it was, they released the deluxe edition of that palette. Right off the back, right when I received this, again I bought it just to kind of support. I didn't know what to expect. I hadn't really looked at pictures too much. I just kind of, hit that buy button. When I received this and I opened it, I knew I was going to love it immediately. Alright, so just to kind of give a little comparison of the original palette versus the deluxe palette, as you can see, right off the back, the packaging is slightly different. It still has that kind of same design, except the deluxe palette is a little more whiter and it looks a little more chic. The font on it as well, or the kind of color of the font, is rose gold versus the original, which is kind of more silver. So when you open the palettes up, the main difference between the two, and you can notice that right off the back, is that the original has kind of like a striped face, whereas the deluxe has a marble finish to it. It's so pretty. It's so appealing. It's so much more appealing than the original is. Obviously the sizing is different because the deluxe has a lot more shadows in it, but that's really the main difference in the packaging. Now to move on to talk a little bit more about the star of the show. Right when I got this palette, like I said, I knew that I would like it. The reason why was because of the kind of colors that they added. The original palette wasn't like a go-to palette for me because I was missing a lot of key shadows that you would need to create a complete look, whereas in this palette they kind of solved that issue. They added a lot more like transition colors. They added a lot more darker crease colors or outer corner colors, and they also added more highlighters that would appeal to kind of a larger audience, if you will. They have this beautiful gold shade, which I have on right now, but they have this beautiful gold shade on, and then they have like more of a rosy pink, and then they also have a white, which all of these are kind of those more wearable shades, and then they have these other colors down here as well. So I love this palette for that reason, because it can be a go-to palette. But the palette has literally so many shades that you can create so many looks with just using this one palette alone, and not having to reach for any other shades or any other kind of palettes or shadows that you may have. So I zoomed you guys into the palette just so you can see the colors a little bit. So this first row right here is going to have a lot of these kind of beautiful peachy pink shades. The second row right here is going to have more of like mauvey, purpley shadows, and then the third row of eyeshadows is going to have more of your brown, neutral shades. Moving on to the highlighters, we have these larger pans right here, which I appreciate because these are my two favorite. So they have this, they added this rose gold shade, and then they added this gold shade, which is my favorite out of this entire palette, I think. It's just so beautiful and pigmented. And then the bottom four pans are going to be this frosty white shade. And then this more of like it's almost like a pinky purpley frost of a highlighters. And then these two darker shades right here, which personally I would never be able to use as highlighters, but you can use these for so much more. If you haven't picked it up, or if you've been thinking about picking it up, I definitely recommend this. It's really nice. For the price especially, it's really nice. I think I paid like, what, $21 for this? And you get all of these shades, and they're just really pretty, and they're really pigmented as well, which I really appreciate in a palette of this price. It has like a good range and a good mix of colors. It has something for everybody. So if you like pinky shades, or if you like purpley shade or shades, or if you like more on the neutral shades or shimmery matte, blah blah blah, it has something for everybody. I think the only thing that's really missing from this is like a nice like black shade, but literally every palette has black, so I'll survive. In terms of like blendability of these shadows, I think it's definitely they blend really easily. They blend really nicely as well. There is some fallout though on like the shimmery shades, which I typically will expect from shimmery shades. They always tend to be a little more powdery than any other eyeshadow. But overall, it's a really dope palette. It's, it's a really good, kind of palette to have in your kit for sure. I think she did a really good job at this one. I'm really happy that she came out with the deluxe version, because I think it's just so much better than the OG. in my opinion. I think that's all that I wanted to cover in terms of like reviewing this palette and what I thought about this palette. I do want to go ahead and send you guys over to the tutorial aspect of this video to show you kind of how I created this kind of look. All the shadows and then the highlighter as well are all from the deluxe edition palette. So if you want to see how I got this look, then just make sure that you keep on watching. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this shadow and I'm going to use that to set my concealer and kind of create a base for my eyeshadow. Next, I'm going to go in with that first shade there and I'm going to use that as a transition color. I'm going to take that with this Real Techniques Duo Fiber eye brush. So I'm really just going to build this color until like I'm satisfied with how it looks. Next, I'm going to take that third color and I'm going to put that on my outer corner and blend it in circular motions. What I like to do is, as I'm doing my eyeshadow, I always like to go back in with whatever brush I use for my transition color and just kind of blend things out. Or really just a blending brush, just to make sure that everything is diffused together. I don't know if I want to do more of a halo eye or if I want to do almost like a half cut crease. I haven't decided yet. So I am going to do more of a halo eye, but for my inner corner I'm going to go in obviously with that same shade but with a smaller brush just to make it easier to get in there. This is a pencil brush. I don't know if it's going to work, but let's see. Not really. I do want to deepen those colors a little bit, so I'm going to go in with this little deeper brown shade with a pencil brush, and I'm just going to, you know, place it over that shadow, I guess, to just deepen it a little bit. Don't really care too much about blending it. I'll blend it in with a different brush. I have a feeling that the camera's focusing more on my hands than it is the eyeshadow. If that's the case, I'm so sorry. I'm going to take some of that brown shade with that transition brush and I'm just going to place it on my crease. For the center of my eye, I'm going to take this bottom row shimmery color right here and I'm going to place that with my finger in the center of my lid. I don't mean to be flipping anybody off. I didn't think about this when I grabbed it. So much for a halo, right? Okay, I'm going to switch fingers. It's very dark. Huh. I'm going to try lifting this with a brush. Okay, I sprayed a little of my rose water on the brush and applying it with that, and it's just making it a little more metallic-y. And then I'm gonna take some of this, technically it's a highlighter, but I'm gonna take some of that and then I'm gonna see if I can make this shine a little more. And then right at the center there, I'm gonna add that lighter highlighter. Before I move on from my eyes, I'm going to go back in with that color that we used to set the eyes, the brow bone color, with a blending brush, and I'm just going to use that to kind of diffuse those edges a little bit, making sure that there's no harsh like lines. So I went ahead and did my foundation off of camera, and for that I used the Maybelline Fit Me in the matte and poreless one. This is a 220, and then for concealer I used a Tarte Shape Tape. This is in light neutral. And then to set my face, I used the Maybelline Super Stay Better Skin Transforming Powder in 30 Warm Nude. So I'm going to take a small shading brush with that transition color that we used, and I'm going to just put it under my lower lash line. With that same brush, I'm going to move on to that second color that we used. And then going in with a smaller, kind of thinner brush, I'm going to go into that darkest color and mainly focus this on just the outer corner there. I'm going to take a pencil brush, and I'm going to take that center color we used, and I'm going to place that on the center of the bottom lash line. I'm going to take a black pencil, and I'm going to line my upper rim. And I'm going to apply a coat of mascara, and then I'm going to also apply some eyelashes, and I'll be right back. So I'm back. I realized that I never mentioned what lashes I was using. I just used the Christina Wispy lashes. You can find them on Amazon. That's how I found them. But we're going to continue on the rest of the face. I'm going to go ahead and bronze really quickly. The bronzer that I'm going to be using is the NYC Sunny Bronzer with just the Real Techniques Duo Fiber Brush. For highlighter, we're going to use, obviously, the highlighters in this palette. I'm going to go ahead and take this one right here. This is my favorite highlighter from this palette, and it's slowly like becoming one of my more of go-to highlighters. It's so pretty. You guys are going to see, and I think you're going to love it. As always, I'm going to take the Morphe 218 brush. So I'm going to just dip into that highlighter, literally not even grabbing like a ton. Highest point of my cheek, and in circular motions. Do you see that? Like, that's crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and add just a little more just because, you know, we're crazy. I love it so much. And then I'm going to do like the tiniest bit on above my eyebrow here. I'm going to drag it down to my cupid's bow. Whatever is left over on my chin. And then I'm just going to highlight the bridge of my nose too. I'm going to take the ABH Gleam Glow Kit, and I'm going to take Mimosa, and I'm going to use that as blush. So with just like a little shadow brush, I'm going to take that white highlighter shade, and I'm going to place that on my inner corners. You see how like freaking pigmented that is? Alright, I'm going to take this white pencil. This is just a Wet n Wild pencil. Alright, so I'm moving on to the lips. So I'm going to take this Kylie Dolce K matte liquid lipstick, and I'm going to apply just like the lightest amount on my lips. I've been doing this lately, like applying the liquid lipstick or the lipstick on my lips first before I line, because my lips are really uneven, and whenever I try to line my lips, they somehow always come out uneven. So by applying like the liquid lipstick first, somehow it helps me like better line my lips after. I think it's because like it already creates a base, so I know where I need to like overline and where I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and take New Truffle by NYX and line my lips. I don't know how I feel about this lip, so I'm just going to test some. Actually, I might like this. This is Cairo by NYX. It's the soft matte lip creams. I'm going to just apply it lightly over it. Okay, I like that. Next, I'm going to take the Mario Badescu Rose Water Spray. I'm going to spritz that all over my face to make sure that, you know, my face doesn't look so powdery, and it kind of like finishes everything off. Alright, and then the last thing, we're going to apply some bottom lash mascara, and I'm going to be taking the Accelerator by Rimmel. Alright, so I think that kind of wraps up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is the first time that I've ever really reviewed anything, and I'm the worst person at kind of wording myself. So I hope that it wasn't too messy or too choppy or too all over the place. I hope I did a decent job at reviewing this. I also hope that you guys like the eye look that I created using this palette. I really like it, you know, just a little something. If you like this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up, and then also don't forget to subscribe as well, because I would love that so much, you know. Also, don't forget to follow me on all my social media so that we can get to know each other more. I love you guys. I'll see you in my next one.